Hello Orchid friends, welcome back to my channel. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day, staying healthy and staying safe. This video, we're going to look at my Phalaenopsis pulchra. This is not a bloom video, but a Keiki removal video. We're going to start with some of the photos I took of this orchid from a couple years ago to show you the progression and how they have grown and why I'm even having to remove a Keiki from the mother plant. So the mother plant itself, I've already had this orchid for a couple years, and then from there this orchid grew its first spike, and I thought it was gonna bloom, but no, it started to produce Keikis. And then this orchid put out another new spike that started to grow even more Keikis. But then the funny thing is the second generation, the Keiki on the first spike, also recently, well, not recent, but also put out its own spike, and on the tip of it also was producing another Keiki. For some reason, this orchid is just loving producing Keikis, and it has only bloomed under my care once. So I'm hoping that it can quickly snap out of the reproduction phase and be in the blooming phase. So another thing interesting about the Keikis I'm seeing of this orchid is typically you grow leaves first. They will grow leaves first until certain size, and then the root will start to emerge. But this is not the case for this one. This one, the leaves are still so tiny, they're not even like expanding out, but then the roots are already forming. So I thought that was quite interesting. I don't know, for those of you who have a pulchra, does your pulchra also like to produce Keikis? And then also, would the Keikis produce roots and leaves at the same time? To me, this is kind of new, because typically I've seen a lot of Keiki photos, and a lot of the times even the leaf span is, significant. Sometimes they are still rootless, but for this one it's quite different. And I also noticed that this orchid tend to produce Keikis in multiples. Each node there are at least 2 Keikis grown at the same time. So from here you can see there are actually 3, maybe 4 Keikis. And then this is the oldest Keiki on the first spike of this plant, and I decided to keep it on there for as long as I could, and then I might have kept it on there for too long that it started to produce its own spike and Keikis. So now we're looking at 3 generations of pulchra, all connected together at this point in time. The reason I didn't want to remove the Keikis too early is because I want them to grow enough roots and have enough leaf span to essentially become big enough to then remove it. Another reason is I simply don't want to have the same type of orchid, but in multiples, taking up unnecessary horizontal space. So I decided to keep it intact, keep all of them intact together for as long as I could. And this is just a video footage of the Keiki's early development phase. They're still quite small, but kind of cute, but already producing roots, like I said earlier. So this video clip, you see it has 2 spikes, and then one of the bigger Keikis also has its own spike. And then here, another video clip from later on, and you can tell that the Keikis are growing bigger and the roots are a lot longer now. And I still kept them pretty much in a sunny spot, and then I made sure that this orchid, the mother plant anyway, is properly hydrated. But it's already starting to show a little bit of dehydration, early warning signs. So that also kind of tells me well, it's probably time to start thinking about removing keikis. But at that time though, at the time of this video clip, I still did not want to remove them just yet because I feel like the keikis are still pretty small, except for the one in the middle. Now, coming up, I had to remove the biggest keiki because the flower spike, as you can see, is starting to dry out. So the mother decided to separate from its first child. So that's what I did. I essentially had to cut the flower spike from the very base away from the mother, and now this is what it looked like. And of course, I would trim off the dead spike, and then I decided to keep this keiki's flower spike and its baby together as a separate plant. And this is just me soaking the roots, all these aerial roots, never being water, but I wanted to make sure that it is soaked so that the roots would be flexible enough for me to work with as I plant this orchid into its new container and medium or media mixture. And in the background is the mother plant. It has its own spike, and the spike is a little tall with some keikis on it, and it's a little top heavy, so I use a bamboo stick to prop it up to make sure that it doesn't dangle, because if it dangles, the flower spike may be bent too sharply and it may not be ideal. And after a while, the keiki aerial roots are soaked in water and now it's green, properly hydrated. Now, looking at this mother plant, don't you feel that it looks a little dry? Well, it's probably because some of the roots in the medium are so old that they have died off. So this is also a perfect opportunity for me to unpot it to see what's going on and obviously trim off dead tissues, dead roots, and probably remove a portion of the stem, so that way I can properly plant this mother plant deeper into the container. And you can see here lots of dry dead roots already, so it's definitely time to trim off the stem along with some of the dead root tissue, and then some of the area roots on top I can then properly plant them into the medium. I also decided not to keep the smallest flower spike because it just kind of stalled for a long time anyway. So after a while, this is what it looked like. This is the mother plant, and it's currently doing well, and I think I will continue to just keep this mother plant with its spike and keiki, and then the keiki plant and its own spike and keiki. And if they have any further progress or development, I will definitely make another video and give you an update. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to get more orchid related videos from my channel,